Suddenly in 2006, I was diagnosed with a condition that will make you go permanently blind. Normal doctors that we have, their definition for the condition that I have is it's incurable. It leads to permanent and total blindness, no treatment. And I had to accept it. And I went totally blind very quickly. It was quite a difficult time and I really had to adapt. And it was a very difficult time period, obviously. Fortunately, what counted in my favor was that the first iPhone came out about the same time. So I would say for the first 8 years that I was blind, I really had to make do with just asking people for help, literally for everything and anything.
Welcome to the Iferia TechCast, where we'll bring you all things science, engineering, technology, and innovation. Today we are joined by Andrew Klerck, a serial entrepreneur who used a functional health protocol and neurological therapy to reverse 18 years of chronic and supposedly incurable blindness. Now he helps high performance and people with chronic conditions transform their lives through his company, Health Maxers, and their flagship app, Neuromax, which democratizes access to the same cutting-edge personal transformation systems which only legends like Michael Jordan could access previously. His mission to show that radical personal transformation is possible when you take control of your health and rewire your mind for change. So, Andrew, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Ezekiel. I really appreciate and the great honor. And also thank you for all the fantastic value that you bring to everyone there in beautiful Mother Africa.
Well, thank you very much. Okay, so let's start at the beginning, Andrew. Your story is astounding. So, reversing 18 years of so-called incurable blindness, it's beyond a miracle. Could you walk us through the journey, how it started, and the processes that you took?
Yeah, thank you so much. And you're definitely right. It's beyond a miracle. And I'm so glad to be able to share this story because I hope it can inspire other people that, you know, incredible miracles are possible still nowadays. So yes, in 2006, let me just go a little bit backwards. I always had very good eyesight in my life. I always drove cars, bicycles, did everything, never had a problem with my eyesight. And then suddenly in 2006, I was diagnosed with a condition that will make you go permanently blind and totally blind. And the definition of a conventional medicine, which is like the normal doctors that we have, their definition for the condition that I have is it's incurable. It leads to permanent and total blindness. There's no treatment, no cure for it. And so I've just lived with it for I had to accept it and I went totally blind very quickly within about 6 months. And it was quite a difficult time. I had to adjust a lot of things. I was running two fairly large companies, one in the United Kingdom and one in South Africa. And I really had to adapt. And it was a very difficult time period, obviously. I would say fortunately, what counted in my favor was that the first iPhone came out about the same time. But it took a few years for technology to catch up to make things a lot easier for blind people. So I would say for the first 8 years that I was blind, I really had to make do with just asking people for help, literally for everything and anything. So around 2015, I started using technology and learned how to incorporate technology to make life easier for myself as a blind person. And it was absolutely amazing. And I mean, today it's magic. It's to a point where I would actually go and say that blindness should not be seen as a disability anymore because of how much you can do as a blind person using technology. But then moving forwards to last year, January 2024, I underwent a functional health protocol. I'll explain functional health in a moment. Oh, let me just explain it. So functional health is where you don't use conventional medicines such as big pharmaceutical drugs to treat a condition. Functional health is where they try to locate what is the original root cause of your condition, and they work from there. So they don't treat the symptoms like conventional medicine. They treat the root cause of your disease. And so in last year, January 2024, I underwent a functional health program for a skin problem, which was totally unrelated to my eyesight. It had nothing to do with my eyesight. And I was on it for about 3 months. And what I had to do was I had to go on what is called a ketogenic diet, which is no carbohydrates, no sugars. I had to do a lot of tests, blood tests, to see how my body's functioning and on all the different levels. I had to do more exercise, sleep better, stress less. So it's a lot of different levels in functional health. And after 3 months doing all of these protocols, my skin condition totally cleared up. It was fantastic. And suddenly one night when I was walking in the street with my partner, murmured, and I was walking with my cane and everything, as I've been doing for 18 years. And I just murmured 46. And my partner stopped and he said, "How do you know this is building number 46?" And without thinking, I said, but I saw it. And suddenly I realized I can, my eyesight is starting to come back. And from there onwards, this is now about more than a year and a half on, and my eyesight has improved so much. I can see you on the screen here. I can see everything in my room. I walk by myself. I don't use a cane. I can read signboards in the street, and it has never happened in conventional medicine or good old traditional doctors. It's a couple of doctors I've talked to about it said, "Oh no, that was maybe I was misdiagnosed for 18 years." It's like, no, it's not. So then I decided, because functional health is very expensive. Just to tell you, this is honest, it's between $5,000 to $6,000 per month to do it,
Wow.
because of the amount of blood tests and things that needs to be done. And so I thought, but this is insane. I mean, not everybody can afford it. Even myself, it was very difficult for me to afford it. And so I went and I listed out everything that I've did during that 3-month program, and to see what were all the different costs, and is there anywhere that I can start a business to reduce the cost and make it more accessible to people worldwide, especially in Africa. I also come from South Africa, so I know there are a lot of people there who can really do with health programs like this. And so I listed it out. And some of the aspects I cannot really change, like the doctor's fees, the cost of the blood tests and things are extremely expensive. I can't do any changes there. Supplementation with vitamins, it's a very important part, and it was also expensive one. Are a lot of cheaper vitamins on the market, so people can opt for that. But then one thing that I noticed, that I picked up, that worked very well for me, it was a big game changer for me, was hypnosis. So I did 3 hypnosis sessions with a hypnotherapist, and I'll explain that in a minute. And it was very expensive as well. I would say it was about 2,400 for the 3 1-hour sessions with a doctor. But it was very powerful. And then I went and I did some research on it, and I realized, but I can turn this into technology. And if I can turn this into technology, then we can put it in the hands of millions, if not billions of people at a fraction of a cost, literally at a very small amount of money. And then that can help people to transform. It can help people to change a lot. So I'll quickly explain hypnosis and hypnotherapy. Well, hypnosis. So hypnosis is it's a mental state. So where your brain goes into hyper focus. Everybody has had it before, where you enjoy doing something so much where you don't realize somebody's calling you, or, somebody put something next to you, or, you know, something happened, because you're so focused on the work and you're so enjoying it. That is actually a state of hypnosis. Now, there is a way to put people's brains into a state of hypnosis merely by letting them listen to something. And that's how hypnotherapists, the doctors who practice hypnosis, have always done it. They sit in front of you, they speak to you in a certain pattern, they'll speak your language, whichever language you speak, and then your brain will react in certain ways to what is spoken to them. And then you actually go into a state of hypnosis, your brain. So you're wide awake, but you don't realize that your brain has opened up and is open to suggestions. It's ready to be trained. Also, to give you an example, for instance, children from the age of 7 and younger basically are all in a state where their brains are being programmed, because they look, they listen, and they copy what they see repeatedly being done around them. And the more they see it and the more they hear things, it gets then programmed into the brain. So that is exactly the principles our technology work on. So we can take people who have phobias, like phobias of snakes and spiders, fears, anything that they're scared of, anxiety, depression, any of those things can be treated within a few days of using the technology of doing hypnosis. It can also be used by people who want to improve their skills. You want to learn a language, but sometimes we learn a new language, but we're scared to speak it. We can take that fear, that anxiety can be totally taken away out of a person. So there are quite a lot of applications that can be used for the technology. So we're super excited to be launching it. And we also now have a second technology out that we're going to be launching very soon, where a person can actually see their future self. So let's say, for instance, a person wants to improve their athletic performance or their work performance, or they're struggling with a chronic condition and they would like to overcome the condition. So then we can program the person's images, their photos of themselves into our system, their voice, and tell our system who this person wants to be in, let's say, 6 months from now. And then it will generate the perfect images of the person in 6 months from now, looking healthy and vibrant and confident and really outgoing. And then that person, that image, which will be video sometime soon, currently it's just images, but will on a daily basis coach the person on how to become that better self. And I think that is going to be very groundbreaking technology once we release it, because it will be changing millions of people's lives within a few months. So sorry I went on a bit there, but I hope
Wow,
it makes
that
sense.
is right. So, Andrew, you've built an AI-powered platform, Neuromax. So, can you walk us through the architecture? So, how does a piece of technology actually help rewire the brain and nervous system?
Yes. Okay. Very good question. So the brain responds to a lot of different impulses, especially like senses. Your hearing, your sight, your smell, and touch and everything. So we had to incorporate quite a lot of different layers of how to access the subconscious mind of the brain, because it only responds to certain impulses. Yeah, so I worked with very intelligent engineers, and we still continue working with them to learn how to get all the technology ready to be able to access the subconscious mind. So we looked at some of the best hypnotherapists around the world, their techniques, their technology, communicated with universities who specialize in psychiatric and psychology, looked at a lot of research papers on what things do the brain respond to very positively? And we incorporated quite a lot of it. So in the old days where a human hypnotherapist had to do a hypnosis session with a client, it was only the human sitting in front of a client, in front of a patient. And remember, humans do have to make mistakes. We do have emotions. You know, the hypnotherapist might make a mistake. They might not feel very well that day. They might be tired or not in the right mindset or have a personal agenda, to make more money out of a patient. So, and that is all just the hypnotherapist speaking. But we went and we layered, I think, maybe around 10 different things in there, like sounds, the way our system speaks to the client. So what our system can do much better than a therapist is that, first of all, it cannot make mistakes because it works within a very strict guardrails that we've trained it on. And it's just so much better than a human therapist, and we're really looking forward to getting it out.
Interesting. So the leap from personal experience to building a scalable tech product is quite huge. So what was the first version of your solution? What did it look like? And how did it evolve into the complex system that you have today?
Yeah, so that is interesting because, like I said, for me, the first thing was, it was how can we make this brilliant health programs that are out there more affordable and economical for other people to use. So that was for me the big driver. I just really want to bring the cost down so other people can access it as well. And it was quite difficult for me because I come from a construction background, nothing in technology.
Wow.
If you had told me a year and a half ago that I will be running a technology company with technology that has the potential to change the lives of billions, I would have laughed it off and said never. So it was a massive mindset shift for me. But I think it's a passion behind it that kept on driving me because I've worked with, over the years since I've been blind, worked with kids who were born blind and who went blind. I've worked with a lot of disabled people. I used to run a very large welfare organization in Africa called Abled Minds, where we help people with physical disabilities to become entrepreneurs. I firsthand know the pain that people with disabilities and chronic conditions go through. And I know, sadly, there are unfortunately millions of these people out there. So for me, that was the absolute driver. So it was like, I'm just not going to give up. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of problems and issues to overcome, but we'll figure it out. If I can beat incurable blindness in 3 months, then I can launch a technology company, to help millions, billions of people transform. So it's been an incredible journey. And I would say the key thing is just to get the best engineers that you can. And I was very fortunate to be in a position to know the right people. I've always been very big into networking. That's been one of my big, strong business skills. So the main engineers that I got were people I already knew. And I mean, they knew about my transformation and they just saw the passion behind it and said they're on board and they will make sure that this comes to life. So I would say this is 100% a passion driven project.
Fascinating. So, you've been an entrepreneur for in other fields, yeah. So, how was building a health tech company any different from the other fields that you've worked in before? So, what were the biggest technical challenge and regulatory or some other challenges you faced?
Yeah, brilliant question because I think AI was the biggest thing I feared when it started coming out, 2 years ago or something like that, or becoming more uh, commonly popular. And because I just turned 50 this year, and I was thinking to myself, even before I started Health Maxers, I was thinking to myself, you know, I'm turning 50 and I still want to be working for the next 25 years. I still want to be running a business and enjoying myself. But if I don't learn AI, I'm going to become obsolete. There are 18-year-olds who run very large multi-million dollar businesses now just because of AI. So for me, it was a big thing. I had to learn how AI works and what it is. How can I implement it into business? Just also, I've never been much into technology because I've always had people working for me doing the technology things, and I just focused on business. So I must say, it totally changed the landscape of business so much, and especially for me. It was something fortunately, I grasped it very fast. So I'll be honest with you. I mean, when people start talking about computer languages and, software products and how things are created, I have no knowledge of what it is and, you know, what they're talking about. But AI has just simplified it so much where even an obsolete old person like me can quickly learn it and quickly figure out how to implement and utilize it. Yes, I might not be able to create complicated systems myself, but very basic things which I couldn't do before, I can do now. And that's changed a lot for me. So I would definitely say to anyone out there, if you're not using AI now, or if you don't know much about it now, you've got to go out there. You've got to learn it. There's so much information on just how to practically use it in business. Once again, you don't have to be able to create complicated systems, but just learn how to incorporate it in business. It's definitely going to change business in the future for quite a long time. So now that I feel very comfortable when the engineers are talking about AI and how we can utilize it and what they're building on, I confidently can sit in conversations and follow and understand what they're saying. And I think it makes a huge difference for me knowing what we are building. We're all on the same track. We understand one another and also moving fast. I think that was also one of my big things that I realized in technology. You have to move incredibly fast. My construction company, sorry, my international trade company that I had, export company, I built it up over 3 decades. I built it up very slowly by myself, and then I got one person, and eventually we ended up on about 1,000 employees. But it was a long-term business. Nowadays in technology, there's no such thing where you can sit and build something long-term. Yes, you can plan to be in technology for a long time, but you can't sit and waste too much time on building a product. Because remember, it's pretty much anybody can build any product. And whatever you're working on, there are a few hundred other people working on a similar thing out there. So all I can say is speed is absolutely important nowadays. Speed and implementation and execution of your business and your products.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, for
Mm,
the developers and data scientists in our
mm.
audience, what kind of data does Neuromax collect, and what are the most meaningful patterns that you've discovered that correlates with the user's sources?
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, brilliant question. So, because we working with people's health and a lot of their private problems, so one thing that we've built into our AI is that none of the conversations that a client has with our AI is accessible to anyone, even to us who built the technology. So yes, I know the data scientists are going to sitting back there screaming. It's like you're losing so much information and data. But remember, we have to be extremely ethical here. You're working with very sensitive issues. Also, we building our brand on the principles that people can trust us. People know that they can come and talk to our AI model about very serious personal issues, perhaps issues that they would never or they don't want to share it with either a doctor or a friend or a family member because they feel, maybe they feel ashamed of it or they feel they're going to be persecuted for it. So that's where our technology would come in really, really handy for for these types of people. So as I said, we do not keep record at all of any of the conversations or data of our clients. We can, however, collect data such as, how many people are male, female, age groups. We can ask them to fill out questionnaires and provide us data and collect it that way. Or, I mean, we haven't built a system yet where we can actually ask people, are you willing to share what what you're discussing with your model? Because sadly, we know, for instance, like all the big technology firms like Google and Facebook and whatever, they always say, oh, your information is private, but we know it's not. So I think it's very important for us to make that massive distinction that when you use our product, your data and information is 100% secure. Not even us or my developers have access to it. So sorry to the data scientists out there.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, Andrew, looking at the future of health tech, what is a capability that feels like science fiction today, but you believe will be possible in the next decade based on the trajectory you're currently on?
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful question. It's, you know, there are so many science fiction things out there from like even the 1970s, 1980s, which have already actually become true and people can do it. But I can definitely foresee in a future where you just switch your device, wherever it is, a mobile device or your laptop, switch it on, and the camera can, within a few seconds, it can figure out what's wrong with you, certain types of conditions, because you can actually, by just using a camera on your phone, you can measure your blood pressure. There are so many area points where it will measure how your skin's moving and moving up and down in your throat and things, and it can actually measure it. And very accurate. I think it's got about a 97% accuracy. So I think it's going to be a lot where we're going to be going to a lot less doctors and we will have a lot more online doctors. Well, already now you can access a doctor in Germany if you want to, and they can do an online consultation with you. If you need tests done, you just get it done at a local clinic close to you and he can pull the test from the computer system. But I definitely think we're moving into the direction where you're going to have AI doctors which are extremely well trained and with whom you can have private conversations, and it's going to be immediate and also very cost effective.
Interesting. I must say that after this talk, I am currently looking forward to the future of health tech already. Andrew,
Absolutely.
your work combines the deeply personal with highly technical. So, how do you maintain the human, compassionate core of your mission while scaling it through technology and automation?
Yeah, well, like I explained earlier, it's absolutely the passion that drives me. My brain does not stop thinking at all. How can, even when I'm in bed at night sleeping, my brain's working and thinking like, how can we build this technology faster? How can we reach out to billions of people as fast as we can? How can we make it as economical as possible? So I think at the moment, let me just go a little bit back. I think it's big, from all the pain that I went through for 18 years, being told I will never see again and it's impossible. There's no cure, there's no treatment. And I know there are millions of people out there, not just for blindness, but for many other conditions. who's been told there's nothing that can be done. That's where the passion is, it's driving me because I know every minute of every day there are people out there suffering and suffering for no reason because there are ways to deal with it. It's just because they've been told there are nothing that can be done. And for me, it's difficult to balance like a normal lifestyle, whatever normality might mean, and running this business because I feel I'm carrying the pain of all those people out there, and I need, we have the ability to help those people. It's just, how do we get it out there as fast as possible to so many people?
Wonderful, wonderful. So, your life's work with your company, your health tech company, is a testament to innovative thinking in the face of impossible odds. So, in the context of health and human potential, I'd like to ask, what does the word innovation truly mean to you?
Yeah, so innovation is an interesting definition because nothing is really innovative. Everything is just a copy of something else. But I think what we did that is innovative is we took the therapy or the hypnosis therapy, which has always only been conducted by humans who are very experienced. It's very difficult to become a hypnotherapist. You have to be extremely skilled. And we've been able to take what they can do and turn it into technology. So we can reach millions more people than what they could reach at a fraction of a cost. Also, our system is so well trained that it's very unlikely that it will make any mistakes. It's going to be consistent all the time. So I think that's where our innovation came in, was just taking something that's always been done by humans and converting it into something that is into technology that is absolutely scalable to billions of people out there at a very low cost.
Fantastic. So, finally, for our listeners who are inspired to learn more about your work or perhaps even begin their own transformation journey, where is the best place for them to either connect with you or try out Neuromax?
Yes, thank you so much. The www.healthmaxers.com. That's where they can go. That's a website where they go and check things out. And then also on my LinkedIn, they can reach out there or on Facebook. So it's Andrew and then Klerck on LinkedIn and Facebook.
All right, Andrew. It's been a
Yep.
really wonderful conversation with you, and I am totally excited to have you on the show today, Andrew.
Thank you very much, Ezekiel. I really appreciate the privilege to talk to you and your audience, and continue with the great work you're doing, man. Really fantastic.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Andrew.
Fantastic. I really appreciate it, and enjoy every day there in beautiful Mother Africa.